Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder if pictures of kids generated by computers could be as good as real photos for studying how we see children? Well, this new research dives deep into that exact question. Imagine you are a scientist studying how people react to faces, especially children's faces. For a long time, researchers have used real photographs from special databases. But getting those photos can be tricky. Sometimes the databases have strict rules, or they don't show enough diversity. Plus, using photos from the internet, like Google Images, raises huge privacy concerns, because the people in those photos never agreed to be used for research. This is especially tricky when studying kids, because their parents might not want their child's face used to study sensitive topics like prejudice or negative traits. So, scientists are looking for new ways to get these images. One cool idea is using artificial intelligence, or AI, to create faces. That is exactly what the team at the University of Illinois did. They created a whole new database called AI Faces by Illinois. It is packed with over 1,000 photorealistic faces of children, all made by AI. This database is a big deal because it is free for anyone to use for research that isn't for making money. They made sure these AI faces could be changed in specific ways. They could represent kids of different ages like 3, 6, 10, or 15 years old. They also included a wide range of racial and ethnic backgrounds: Black, East Asian, Latin, Middle Eastern, and North African, Native American, Pacific Islander, South Asian, and white. And of course, different emotions like smiling, angry, and frowning. But here is the million-dollar question. Are these AI faces believable? Do people see them as real? And do they make us think and react the same way as real photos of kids? To find out, the researchers did two big studies. In the first study, over 1,000 people looked at these AI-generated faces and gave their opinions. They rated how real the faces looked, how old they seemed, their gender, their race, and their emotion. The results were super promising. People thought these AI faces looked just as real as actual photos of children from other well-known databases. Think about it like this. The AI faces were rated really high on realism. For example, the smiling faces averaged around 5.25 on a 7-point scale. Now, that is an average, and there is always some variation, but it shows these computer-generated kids were convincing. Now, with AI, there is always a concern about bias. AI models are often trained on tons of data, and if that data isn't diverse, the AI can pick up on those biases. For instance, sometimes AI is better at creating white faces than faces from other racial groups. The researchers knew this was a potential problem, so they took extra steps. They were really careful with their prompts, the instructions they gave the AI. They specified details about clothing, hairstyles, skin tones, and body shapes to avoid stereotypes. They also generated thousands of images and then had a diverse team of researchers pick the best ones, making sure they were represented fairly. And the really cool part, these AI faces didn't just look real, they made people act like they were looking at real kids. The researchers found that people showed the same kinds of biases when looking at these AI faces as they do with real photos. For example, they found something called the own race categorization advantage. This is where people are generally better at recognizing and categorizing faces from their own racial group. The AI faces showed this too. If a participant was Black, they were more likely to correctly identify a Black AI face as Black. This suggests that the AI faces are tapping into the same mental processes we use when we see real people. They also saw how stereotypes can show up. For instance, studies with real faces have shown that Black individuals are sometimes perceived as more masculine. Guess what? The AI faces showed this same pattern. This might seem concerning, but for researchers, it is actually a sign that the AI faces are behaving like real faces, which is what they want for their studies. To really hammer this home, they did a second study. They directly compared the AI faces from their database with actual photos of children from a well-known database called Café. And the results, there was no significant difference in how real people thought the AI faces looked compared to the real photos. This is a huge finding. It means these AI-generated faces are not just a passable alternative. They are as believable as real photographs of children in the eyes of adults. So, what is the big deal about all this? Well, for psychologists and other researchers, this database is a game changer. It means they can get high-quality, diverse images of children's faces easily and affordably. They don't have to worry about privacy issues that come with using photos of real kids without consent. They can also control the images precisely, making their experiments more focused and reliable. Now, while they did a great job of minimizing AI bias, they did notice a couple of things. For example, some racial groups like Native American or Pacific Islander faces might have gotten slightly lower ratings for matching their intended race. This could be because of the AI's training data, or maybe because there weren't enough people from those groups in their study to really compare. And that brings us to the limitations. They mentioned they couldn't get enough participants from certain backgrounds like Middle Eastern and North African to really analyze how those faces were perceived by people from within those groups. They also point out that future research could explore how multiracial individuals see these AI faces and even create AI faces of multiracial children. Overall, this AI Faces by Illinois database is a really exciting development. It gives researchers a powerful tool that is ethical, accessible, and scientifically valid. It is a step towards more inclusive and responsible research when it comes to studying children's faces. So, what is my take on all this? I think it is brilliant. The researchers clearly thought through the ethical implications and the technical challenges. By carefully crafting their AI prompts and having human researchers vet the images, they've managed to create a resource that is both diverse and high quality. The fact that the AI faces behave just like real faces in terms of psychological biases is key. It means we can trust these images to tell us something meaningful about human perception. The biggest implication here is that we can now conduct research on child development and perception in a way that respects privacy and promotes diversity. Imagine studies on how children perceive emotions or how they form impressions of others, being powered by these AI faces. It opens up so many possibilities, of course, as they mentioned. There is always room for improvement. Future work could focus on creating even more diverse training data for AI and ensuring that the AI faces are perceived accurately by a wider range of demographic groups. Also, exploring how AI faces can represent mixed-race children is a really important next step. What do you all think about using AI-generated faces in research? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more science explained simply, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.